Julian Womack, It's Alive, Physiology Final. For the first model, I used pipe cleaners, model magic clay, medical textbooks, dry spaghetti, and a marble roller. I have created the gastrointestinal tract, focusing on the stomach and the esophagus. The principal functions of the gastrointestinal tract are to digest and absorb ingested nutrients and to excrete waste products of digestion. Digestive system begins with the mouth and ends with the anus. My model will be focusing on the esophagus and the stomach. The esophagus sweeps food from the mouth into the stomach using peristaltic waves, a smooth muscle group that sends food towards the stomach in rhythmic waves. The lining of the stomach has gastric pits that work to break down proteins into amino acids, carbohydrates, sugars, and fats down into fatty acid, glycerol, and monoglycerides. Hydrochloric acid plays an important role in digesting food along with pepsin enzymes. Unlike the stomach that has a lining to protect it from the destructive effects of hydrochloric acid, the esophagus does not have the protective lining. This is why a closed gastroesophageal sphincter is important in preventing gastric acid reflux, also known as heartburn, going into the esophagus. Individual parts of the GI tract that's represented in my model are the esophagus, which is responsible for peristalsis, the gastroesophageal sphincter, which is responsible for separating hydrochloric acid from the esophagus, the stomach, responsible for breaking down food using strong enzymes, the stomach's gastric pits, responsible for secreting hydrochloric acid and pepsin. The GI tract works where food enters the mouth and is broken up through mechanical breakdown, then travels down into the esophagus and into the stomach for digestion. We could say a piece of pizza being digested with hydrochloric acid and enzymes. A closed gastroesophageal sphincter is important in preventing gastric esophageal reflux disease, also known as GERD or GERD. When the sphincter is open, the low pH hydrochloric acid in the stomach content travels up through the esophagus, creating the burning sensation in the chest called heartburn. Years of reflux can change the cells at this juncture, leading to a precancer condition called Barrett's esophagitis. Risk factors for this condition are being a smoker, having GERD or GERD, and being a white male. If the GI system was removed, then nutrition would be removed. Several things would be affected, such as lack of nutrients being distributed throughout the body due to missing components for digestion as well as food breakdown. For my second model, I used pipe cleaners, model clay magic, medical textbooks, dry spaghetti, a marble roller, as well as a black Sharpie. My second system is a circulatory system. The main function is to deliver oxygen and nutrients to cells and organs and also take away waste like carbon dioxide. For the heart, we have the right atrium, which receives blood from the veins and pumps it to the right ventricle. The right ventricle receives blood from the right atrium and pumps it to the lungs where it is loaded with oxygen. The left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the lungs and pumps it to the left ventricle. The tricuspid valve opens when blood flows from the right atrium to the right ventricle. The mitral valve prevents the backflow of blood from the left ventricle to the left atrium. The superior vena cava carries blood from the head, neck, arms, and chest. The inferior vena cava carries blood from the legs, feet, and organs into the abdomen and pelvis. The pulmonary valve acts like a one-way door from your heart's right ventricle to the lungs. In an example of this system in use, we could say you're running a marathon and your heart is required to push more blood in and out of the heart at faster rates. A disease that could affect the circulatory system could be myocarditis. For an example, a basketball player at University of Florida named Keontae Johnson was hit with acute left ventricle myocarditis, causing reduced heart rate ability and rapid or abnormal rhythms called arrhythmias, as well as massive inflammation due to COVID. If the circulatory system were to be removed, the human body would not be able to live on, as without oxygen, cells would die. If the oxygen-rich blood doesn't circulate as it should, a person would die. This has been Julian Womack's presentation of It's Alive. Thank you.